Incredible transformation. 12-year-old girl found in basement cage. Unbelievable truth exposed. Lily had become a ghost in her own life, trapped in a rusted cage beneath a house that looked cheerful from the outside. A girl with dreams tucked inside her heart, yearning for the light of day, she spent her childhood surrounded by shadows that echoed her father's demons. But everything changed one fateful evening when Mr. Thompson stumbled upon her secret. The retired veteran, with a heart made of gold, sensed something was amiss. When he pried open the basement door, her wide, terrified eyes met his. He did not just find a girl, he found a lost soul, desperate for rescue. As news of Lily's rescue spread through Willow Springs, it tore through the town like wildfire, igniting fervent conversations about social justice and family values. Suddenly, neighbors who had once turned their heads away when faced with hardship began to gather, fueled by anger and compassion. Plans for a fundraiser took shape, with bake sales and community events emerging to support Lily's recovery. But beneath the bright lights of charity lurked whispers of judgment. How could a girl like her have come from a home like that? The very same community that rallied to save her couldn't help but discuss the dark corners of her past in hushed tones. One chilly afternoon, as Lily explored her foster home, a world filled with warmth and safety, she found a stack of discarded cardboard. Grabbing a marker, she began to sketch. Each stroke transformed her sorrow into vivid art, splattering her pain onto the rough surface like color against an old canvas. In that small moment, she discovered freedom. Her heart raced, her fingers trembling with excitement, as art became a refuge from the storm brewing within. But the joy was short-lived. When the community organized an art showcase to lift her spirits, the event quickly turned heated. Neighbors squabbled in corners, their words laced with prejudice disguised as concern. Some labeled her talent a mere cry for help, while others questioned the upbringing that had birthed it. Their voices blended into a cacophony of misunderstandings and assumptions, forcing Lily into the uncomfortable position of defending her life story. Just as an opportunity for understanding began to emerge, a shocking revelation shattered the atmosphere. Lily's father, a once promising musician, had allowed addiction to extinguish his gifts and ambitions. This news ignited a different kind of conversation in town, one that urged residents to dig deeper beneath the surface of their judgments. The townspeople began re-examining their own struggles, realizing that fear sometimes birthed prejudice. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the showcase approached, Lily sat alone with her drawings, feeling the weight of her father's dreams resting on her shoulders. Her future felt tangled with memories she couldn't erase. She understood now that her story wasn't just about breaking free from a cage. It was about finding her voice amid the storm of assumptions. Outside, lightning flashed across the sky, mirroring the chaos in her heart. Would her art become a bridge to understanding, or would the shadows of her past swallow her whole? In that moment, as the storm raged and the night deepened, Lily whispered into the darkness, "This is my chance." As she stood before her community, poised to unveil her art, her heart pounded with both fear and hope. Would they accept her story, or would they turn away, leaving her lost once again? The storm hung heavy in the air, the tension palpable. As Lily stepped onto the makeshift stage at the heart of the art showcase, she saw familiar faces, some kind, others with skepticism etched deep into their features. Mr. Thompson, the one who had saved her, stood at the front, a beacon of hope in her darkening world. Lily's pulse quickened, drowning out the sounds around her. With trembling hands, she clutched her sketchbook, the pages trembling like her heart. They were filled with swirling colors that danced between joy and sorrow, reflecting the chaos that had engulfed her life. The pitter-patter of raindrops against the roof seemed to echo the anxious beat of her heart. Lily closed her eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath, allowing the memories of her past to swirl in her mind. Images of her father, flashing from warmth to rage, rolled through like a film on repeat. But she couldn't let that define her. This was her moment. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice quivering yet steady. The room fell silent, all eyes on her. "I know many of you have questions about who I am and where I come from." A murmur swept through the crowd, and she scanned the faces before her, absorbing their mix of empathy and judgment. "But today, I want to share something I've discovered." She flipped open her sketchbook, revealing a vibrant collage of images, colors alive with emotion. Each drawing spoke a language of its own, filled with struggles and dreams, pain and laughter. Gasps shook the air as the story unfolded visually, her past laid out in strokes of bold color and intricate lines. Lily felt the room as tension shift. The once skeptical murmurs turned into whispers of awe. This is my story," she continued, her confidence building with every word. "Not just of suffering, but of hope, of lost dreams that I am trying to reclaim." She paused, glancing at Mr. Thompson, who nodded encouragingly, his eyes soft with understanding. She revealed a drawing of a cage, dark and ominous, contrasted sharply with a depiction of a wide-open sky, vibrant with possibility. "I lived in darkness, but I can feel the light breaking through." Her voice cracked, filled with raw emotion. "Art has given me a way to process what I couldn't before." But just as the weight of her words seemed to break open the doors of empathy, a voice caught through one she recognized. "What kind of girl needs art to escape a father's shadow?" The question echoed with biting disbelief. The room froze, eyes darting between her and the speaker, a neighbor known for her sharp tongue. Lily's heart sank. Had they not heard her? Or was she merely a symbol, one that didn't deserve their understanding? "I don't need to fit into a mold you've created," she shot back, the anger illuminating her spirit. "I'm more than my father's mistakes. I'm not a victim, but a survivor. My art isn't pitiful. It's the expression of my rebirth." Gasps erupted, some from shock, others from admiration. The crowd shifted, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. With every sketch, she pulled them into her world, coaxing out the misconceptions they had of her. By revealing her truth, both vulnerable and fierce, she tore down the walls that had defined her forever. Around her, familiar faces softened, mouths opened, and for the first time, she felt seen. What she didn't expect was how the storm outside would mirror the torrent of emotion stirring within. As the first drops began to fall, the tension lifted, and relief washed over the room. But the moment hung in the air like a heavy fog. Had she truly broken free of the shadows? Or was she about to dive deeper into a world where acceptance was still out of reach? And so, Lily concluded, voice strong yet soft, "I invite you to join me on this journey, not as my judges, but as my allies." As she stepped back from the stage, heart still racing, she felt an unfamiliar warmth weaving through her, a faint thread of connection forming amidst the uncertainty. But the feeling was quickly shaken as a loud crash resounded. It was just outside, but it sent a wave of tension through her. What had happened? With the crowd murmuring anxiously, Lily could only wonder what awaited them on the other side of understanding. A tense stillness filled the room as the loud crash echoed again, reverberating off the walls like a sudden clap of thunder. The crowd shifted uneasily, eyes darting toward the door, fear mingling with curiosity. Lily's heart raced not just from her recent performance, but from the sense of danger lurking just outside the art showcase. "Stay calm," Mr. Thompson's voice rose above the whispers as he stepped forward, trying to reclaim control. Let us see what has happened. Lily watched him, her heart swelling with gratitude. He had been her anchor, grounding her in moments of turmoil. Now he stood there, a fierce protector in the face of uncertainty. But fear mingled with doubt in her gut. What if they weren't safe? As Mr. Thompson carefully opened the door, rain poured in, drenching the small entryway, and the storm's roar intensified just outside. The light dimmed further, casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls. A collective gasp swept through the audience as someone stumbled in, soaked through, a look of panic etched across their features. It was Mia, Lily's childhood friend. Lily, you have to help, Mia shouted, breathless and wide-eyed. It's your dad, he is here. A wave of nausea hit Lily. Memories flooded back, the anger, the fear, the years lost in the shadow of control. She'd never thought he would come to find her here, a place that had promised to be a sanctuary. As the crowd surged, curiosity mixing with fear, Lily's thoughts raced. Why now? She could barely think. The world around her blurred for a moment, like a smeared painting. But she couldn't let fear steal this precious moment away, this flicker of acceptance she had just claimed. Mia, she said, forcing herself to breathe, to think clearly. What happened? He broke out. The police, she paused, shaking her head in disbelief. They thought he was in jail. Lily felt her legs weaken under the weight of the revelation. Her father, the man who had turned her life into a nightmare, was free. And he was looking for her. The crowd was watching. She could feel their stares heavy on her shoulders. Would they side with her? Would they continue to see her as a survivor? Or would her past undo all the strides she had just made? Everyone, please, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. You need to leave now. A few people began to shuffle toward the exits, but most were frozen in place, caught between the reality of her words and the spectacle of the moment. Fear had a way of binding people, wrapping them tightly in its grip. We can't let him come back, Lily urged, her voice rising. I want to go back to that life. Not again. Murmurs ran through the crowd, some calling for help, others unsure of what to do. Mr. Thompson stood firm, his expression resolute. Lily, we'll protect you. We won't let him hurt you again. A sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut, rattling the very foundations of the shelter they had created. The atmosphere shifted once more, tension thick like fog. Lily, is he here? Mia's eyes were wide, searching, pleading for reassurance. Lily swallowed hard, her mind racing. Did she dare to hope that the community she had just begun to open up to would stand beside her? Or would this moment of vulnerability dissolve in the face of her past? I need you with me, she said, looking at the crowd, energy crackling through her veins. Your support, your understanding, that's what I need most. Are you with me? As a chorus of nods and murmured confirmations began to spread through the crowd, the tension outside intensified. Would she be able to face her father once again? And could this community truly become her allies in the battle ahead? The storm raged, but within her heart, a spark ignited, preparing to fight against the shadows that loomed larger than ever before. But as the door creaked open again and dark shadows shifted just beyond the threshold, Lily braced herself for the truth. What would happen if her past caught up to her now? The creaking door revealed only darkness, a haze of uncertainty spilling into the room. Lily's heart pounded so loudly she feared everyone could hear it. The shadows lingered, waiting, and she felt every eye upon her, curious, expectant, fearful. Mia, stay close, she whispered, moving slightly to shield her friend, instinct kicking in. Mr. Thompson stepped beside her, shoulders squared, the embodiment of unwavering support. The room grew silent, the distant sound of rain drumming loudly on the roof, replacing the chaos in Lily's mind with a singular focus. She could feel the pulse of the storm, matching the thump of her heart. Each second stretched like an eternity. Mr. Thompson, what do we do? One of the voices called from the back, fear lacing their tone. The uncertainty swept through the crowd, leaving behind a trail of anxious energy. "Stay together," he commanded. "We can't let fear dictate how we respond. Lily needs us." Lily took a deep breath. His words seemed to weave strength into the air around her. She was not alone. "This isn't about me," she declared, her voice cutting through like glass. "We'll face whatever's coming together." Her resolve felt like light piercing through the darkness that had haunted her past. The door swung open wider, and the silhouette of her father emerged, shadowy and imposing. "Lily," he bellowed, his voice slicing through the tension in the room like a knife. The crowd recoiled, fear transforming their curiosity into a collective gasp. "Stay back," Mia shouted, stepping in front of Lily instinctively, protective and fierce. The sight of her friend standing strong fortified Lily's spirit. "No one is getting hurt today," she added, her voice low and steady, even as she trembled inside. She felt the warmth of those around her, the unity sparking hope deep in her chest. "Lily," her father pleaded, though his words felt like threats wrapped in desperation. "You don't understand. I just want to talk." "Talk?" Lily echoed. "You had your chance. You lost the right to that when you chose your anger over our family." As her words hung in the air, the crowd behind her stirred, gathering strength. "Yeah, you don't get to decide when to show up," someone shouted, emboldened by Lily's bravery. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the audience. The door slammed shut again, perhaps in response to the rising tide of courage building in the room. This was a moment they were shaping together, and with every affirmation she received, Lily felt the grip of her past start to loosen. Yet, the pressure of her father's presence was suffocating, his rage palpable. "You think they can protect you?" he bellowed, eyes wild and desperate. "You're just a lost little girl." In that moment, clarity washed over Lily. It didn't matter what he said. He was just the same man who had sought to control her life for far too long. "No!" she shouted, feeling a surge of defiance. "I'm not lost. I am found. I have a family here, and I'm not going back." Then, an unexpected thing happened. The crowd began to chant her name, softly at first, "Lily, Lily," but it soon grew louder, a unified cadence bolstering her courage. "Feel that?" she asked, locking eyes with her father. "They're here for me. They believe in me. You can't take that away, no matter how hard you try." The atmosphere shifted, the storm outside echoing the turmoil within. But the storm inside of her felt less daunting. They would not let her be shattered again. As her father's figure lingered menacingly just beyond the doorway, something shifted in the air. The sounds of the storm were no longer threatening. They were a reminder of the power of resilience. The door began to rattle again, a violent shake matching the tumultuous emotions swirling inside. With every moment that passed, Lily realized that the truth was about to emerge, one way or another. What will happen next? She dared to think, a knot of uncertainty still tight within her, but a spark of hope ignited alongside it. And as a heavier silence fell over the room, she wondered, would she finally confront the monster of her past, or would the shadows of her father's control recede for good? The echo of the crowd's chant wrapped around Lily like an unyielding shield, giving her the strength she never knew she had. She could feel the tension crackling in the air, a live wire ready to spark. Each tremor of the door matched the rhythm of her pulse, roaring in her ears despite the pounding rain outside. "Lily!" her father shouted again, his voice thick with frustration and anger. "You think they care for you? Look at them. They're just waiting for the show to end." But Lily could sense something different. The voices behind her weren't merely spectators. They were part of a movement, a force she never expected to wield. The people in the room, her friends, her community, had chosen to stand with her, to protect her. Their belief flowed through her like warm sunlight breaking through the darkest clouds. What happens if we let fear control us? She challenged, her voice steady. What happens when we stop believing in each other? Her words struck a chord, and she noticed Mr. Thompson nodding vigorously. That is right. We can face anything together. He raised his arms, and the crowd erupted into affirmations, echoing their support. Her father hesitated, caught off guard by the solidarity gathering in the room. For a fleeting moment, doubt flickered across his features. But it was short-lived. He glowered at the crowd, trying to reassert his dominance. You have no idea what you're dealing with, he barked, his voice trembling with rage and fear. You're playing with fire, and it will burn you. The flickering fluorescent lights overhead buzzed in response, casting unsettling shadows across the walls. Lily shifted slightly, feeling Mia's hand grip hers, a silent promise of support. Together, she reminded herself, drawing strength from that word. The whispers of doubt that once consumed her now faded into a resolve so fierce it took her breath away. Listen, Lily shouted, allowing her voice to soar above the chaos. You don't define who I am anymore. I'm not that little girl you tried to control. I've found my strength. I'm building a life here, with people who will fight for me. Lily, you're making a mistake, her father warned, desperation clawing at his tone. But the determination in her heart was like steel. It wouldn't bend. Outside, the storm raged on, but inside, there was a growing calm. The crowd began to chant her name again, each repetition swelling her resolve and washing the hurt of her past away. Lily! Lily! Then, with a sudden urgency, the door rattled violently once more. This time, it burst open with a force that sent a cold gust of wind through the room. And there stood another figure, Agnes, a community leader brimming with strength, her fierce presence commanding silence. Stop! She bellowed, stepping forward, eyes blazing with authority. This isn't just about you, Liam. This is about our community, about standing up against the darkness that has caused so much pain. For a heartbeat, Lily felt suspended in time, staring at Agnes as if she were a lighthouse cutting through the fog. Was this the moment they would reclaim not just her past, but their futures together? The room felt charged with a collective breath, anticipation buzzing like static. Lily turned to her friends, their expressions filled with hope and eagerness, as if they were ready for a fight. Could they truly challenge the shadows that loomed so closely? What if this was a pivotal moment not just for her, but for everyone who had faced silent struggles? Agnes squared her shoulders, confronting the looming figure of her father. It's time for the truth to come out, she declared. And you need to answer for everything. The tension hung like the calm before a thunderstorm, seizing Lily's breath. What secrets would be unearthed? What truths lay hidden, waiting to shatter the illusion her father had built? For the first time, she understood that their collective strength could illuminate any darkness. Everything is about to change, she whispered, the gravity of those words echoing in her heart. What else would be exposed when the truth came to light? Would the storm finally clear, or would new forces rise from the shadows? Lily's heart thudded like a drum as Agnes's words filled the room with a weight both daunting and liberating. Hope flickered in every corner, igniting courage in each of her friends. The crowd, once merely a backdrop to her struggle, now pulsed with life and purpose. She could feel their unity, a living heartbeat, lifting her spirit higher. Agnes, what truth are we talking about? Lily pressed, her voice quivering with the urgency of the moment. The crowd turned their eyes to Agnes, waiting for answers like thirsty travelers spotting an oasis. Agnes stepped closer, a force of nature clad in determination. Liam, you've kept the community in the dark for too long. No more. It's time they know about the fear you've instilled. It's time to tell them how you've hurt your family, how you've hurt Lily. Her father's face twisted, anger snaking through his expression. But the flicker of uncertainty was back, less guarded this time. Could it be that he too felt the shifting tides of this room? Lily gathered her breath, ready to speak, ready to dive deep into the truth that had shackled her for so long. "You've controlled me with silence and fear," she declared, voice growing bolder with every word. "But I won't be silent anymore. Not in front of my friends. Not in front of my community." The crowd erupted into cheers, voices merging into a roar of defiance. It was a tidal wave of support, washing over her, an affirmation that this fight was hers alone. Mia squeezed her hand tighter, tears shining in her eyes, reflecting pride and solidarity. But amid the cheers, doubt still lurked in her father's eyes. "You're all fools," he barked. "This isn't just about me or you, Lily. It's bigger than any of you can comprehend. There are forces at play that you don't understand." Agnes stepped closer, forcing her gaze into his, unwavering. "You think these people can't comprehend the importance of care and truth? They've lived under your rule for too long. It's time for their voices to matter." Lily surged forward. "What kind of power did you think you had, Dad? It doesn't work anymore. This is our time to reclaim what you took from us." As the room held its breath, Lily felt a flicker of someone behind her. She turned slightly to see Mr. Thompson, his expression filled with determination. "We will not back down, Liam. We all have a voice, and we will stand together." The warmth of courage spread through the crowd like wildfire. Each shout of defiance, each echo of hope brought them closer to breaking the binds of fear. Yet, in that moment of unity, her father's face hardened, a stark shadow dimming the room. "Then you'll all find out just how wrong you are," he sneered, drawing deep breath before he delivered his final decree. "You want the truth? Very well. I'll tell you everything." The room held its breath again, tension reaching a fever pitch as the storm outside raged on, thunder rumbling as if echoing their fears. Lily's heart raced. What more could he reveal? What truths would shatter the fragile peace in the room? Did they underestimate his capacity for pain and manipulation? As his mouth opened, the ominous tension stretched, threatening to snap. The crowd leaned in, held hostage by the weight of his words. In that moment, Lily felt the collective heartbeat of her neighbors, her friends, each of them united in this pivotal moment. Could they withstand whatever her father was about to unleash? Would they emerge stronger, or would the storm break them apart? "Lily," he started, voice low and menacing, "you think you know the truth, but you don't even realize how deep this darkness runs. What darkness lay waiting to be unleashed? And would they all be strong enough to endure it?" Her father's words hung in the air like a thunderclap, sending ripples of uncertainty through Lily's heart. Around her, the crowd held its breath, eyes wide, waiting for a revelation that could shatter everything they believed about him. "Do you really want to know?" he sneered, a bitter smirk tugging at the corners of his mouth. "You think you're ready for the truth? You have no idea what I've done to protect you, to protect all of you. What could possibly justify the fear you spread?" Lily shouted, each word a defiant pulse of her heart. With every ounce of courage she could muster, she stood taller. "What kind of protection is that when it comes at the cost of our voices, our freedom?" "Shut up," he roared, the intensity of his anger shaking the very walls around them. "You are naive. You have no understanding of the darkness that lurks in our lives. There are things out there, forces that would destroy us if they knew." Lily felt a wave of confusion and sadness mixed with her anger. Her friends, her neighbors, all stood there, eyes darting between her and her father. The weight of history, past conversations that had felt hidden and clouded, began to unravel, exposing the fragility of trust. As the storm outside raged with increased fervor, it seemed to mirror the turmoil in the room. Lightning flashed through the windows, illuminating her father's face, a momentary glimpse of the man she once saw as a protector, now twisted and dark. Let me remind you, your mother was the only one who could keep the darkness at bay, he spat, bitterness lacing his tone. After she died, it all fell apart. I had to be both the father and the shield. Shield? You've only locked us in a cage made of fear. Lily shouted back, her fists clenched at her sides. I once let you use Mom's memory as an excuse for your actions. The crowd erupted again, voices rising in solidarity, as they called out variations of her sentiment. We're here for the truth. No more hiding. We demand to know. But her father's eyes were glazed over, caught in some distant memory. You don't even know what really happened, Lily. I did what had to be done to keep you safe from her enemies. Enough. Agnes interjected, stepping forward with a fierce resolve. You can't hold on to the past forever, Liam. This is not how we heal. This is not how we move forward. Move forward? He bellowed. You think you can just erase what was done? You are all blind to the dangers out there. I did what I thought was best. But we can't be held hostage by fear any longer, Lily declared, her voice swelling with determination. In that moment, she took a step closer to him. We need to hear the truth now. All of it. You've buried it long enough. Liam's face twisted, anguish battling with anger, as he processed the intensity of her words. The crowd began to chant her name, the rhythm echoing in her soul, and she felt buoyed by their energy. Lily. 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 Just when it seemed he might break, a sudden crash of lightning illuminated the room, causing everyone to jump. Fine, he shouted, voice cracking under the strain. You want the truth? You want to know what you're up against? I'll tell you everything, but understand, once unleashed, there is no going back. A chill swept through the room as he steadied himself, the air thick with suspense. What truth awaited them? Lily felt the crowd hold its breath, and she herself was on a razor's edge of hope and fear. Would their world shatter, or would they find a new path illuminated by his darkness? Just then, a soft whimper echoed from the back of the room. All heads turned. Who was standing there? What more was hidden in the shadows? Could they possibly face it together? The crowd parted like waves, revealing a small figure standing in the doorway. A girl, no older than 12, trembled as she stepped forward. Her hair was tangled and dirty, and her eyes were wide with fear, but also with something else, an acute awareness of the world around her. Whispered murmurs rippled through the crowd, disbelief painting their faces. Who are you? Lily called out, her voice steadying despite the racing of her heart. Every ounce of her attention turned to the girl, whose very presence added a new layer of confusion and urgency to the moment. Before the girl could answer, Liam's expression darkened further. No! He shouted, lurching forward, panic flashing in his eyes. Stay back. Why? Lily demanded, her heart pounding in her chest. Why should we stay back? She is not a threat, she is a victim. The surge of protectiveness bubbled up in her, mirroring the response from the crowd, who shuffled closer, their concern mounting. The girl's lips trembled as she said, I'm Sophie. Her voice was a fragile whisper, barely audible above the rumbling storm outside. Liam's face twisted in agony, an internal war raging in his eyes. No, this isn't happening. You don't get it. You need to understand how dangerous this is. Then tell us, Lily shouted, frustration boiling over. Tell us the whole truth. About her, about everything. Sophie took in the faces around her, a flicker of bravery replacing some of her fear. I wasn't supposed to be here. I was taken. They thought I had something important, something powerful. What does that mean? Agnes stepped forward, her voice calm yet commanding. Powerful how? Tell us, Sophie. I don't know, Sophie said, tears welling up. It's all a blur. I remember dark places and quiet warnings. They said they needed me to control to prevent the darkness from coming back. But I escaped. Liam looked stricken, his hands trembling at his sides, as if he were fighting an unseen battle within himself. Don't listen to her. She is a child, she doesn't understand the world she has been in. But the crowd erupted again, voices overlapping, demanding answers, their solidarity amplifying with each passing moment. Lily felt the weight of their collective hope, but also a creeping dread. What if this truth shattered them? What if Sophie was just as lost as they were? The storm outside raged on, flashes of lightning illuminating Sophie's frightened face. I heard them talking about your mother, Lily. She locked eyes with her, a terrible weight pressing on her chest. They said she was special. That's why they targeted you. They think they can summon something dark, something out of control. The chilling revelation settled like ice in the air. Lily could feel her breath quicken, understanding dawning on her like a crisis that couldn't be brushed aside. And now, Sophie continued, voice stronger, they're searching for me. They know I'm gone. Liam took a step back, the truth settling in him as well, and for the first time, vulnerability replaced rage in his eyes. But it was too late for him to retreat. What does it all mean? A voice from the crowd rang out. What do we do? Lily searched for an answer amidst the rising tides of fear and uncertainty around her. In that moment, she realized they had no choice but to confront the darkness together. Together, she declared, her voice steady and loud over the din of confusion. We will face this as one. But first, we must understand the truth. But as she spoke, a shadow flickered past the windows, a quick movement that sent gasps rippling through the audience. What is out there? Sophie's eyes widened, fear clawing back into her voice. The moment hung heavy with apprehension. Were they truly prepared for the dangers waiting just outside? And as the tension thickened, a low growl echoed in the distance, sending a chill down Lily's spine. What could be lurking beyond the storm? What new threat loomed on the horizon? Lily held her breath as the growl reverberated through the air, its menace filling every corner of the room. The crowd shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting toward the darkened windows where the storm raged outside. Lightning flashed again, casting eerie shadows that danced across their faces, revealing a spectrum of fear and determination. What was that? Agnes whispered, instinctively stepping closer to Sophie, whose hands fidgeted at her sides. The girl drew a deep breath, mustering her courage, though her wide eyes betrayed her terror. I don't know, Sophie admitted, her voice shaking but steadying slightly. But they whoever took me are coming for me. They won't stop until they find me. Liam's expression hardened again, but this time it was tinged with resolve. Then we need to get her somewhere safe. Now! Lily was torn. She wanted to protect Sophie, but what about the others? No one left behind, she declared, raising her voice to counter Liam's urgency. If they come for Sophie, they'll come for all of us. We must stick together. A murmur of agreement swept through the crowd. People began to inch closer to Lily, grasping hands and offering reassurance. Suddenly, another growl echoed, louder this time, followed by a series of guttural howls that sent shivers down their spines. The noise twisted the air into a tangible thing, thick and oppressive. Above the sounds of the storm, a heavy thud resonated against the door, causing it to rattle in its frame. Everyone stay back! Liam shouted, backing towards Sophie and shielding her with his body. The instincts within him rose to the surface, fierce and protective. Lily could see fear threading through the group. Faces that had once been filled with compassion now twisted into masks of anxiety. She felt it too. The question loomed over all of them, what if they couldn't hold the darkness at bay? Listen, Lily called, trying to keep calm. Whatever is out there, we can handle this together. We've faced darkness before, and we've fought through. The crowd murmured in uncertainty, but behind their fear, Lily sensed a flicker of hope. They had each other. They were not alone. Before they could form a plan, the rattling grew louder. A dark form surged past the windows, moving with a speed that made Lily's heart race. The crowd gasped collectively as the reality hit them. Danger was at their doorstep. "What do we do?" Agnes asked, her calm exterior faltering. "Can you sense anything?" Liam turned to Sophie, desperation growing in his eyes. He was fighting an internal battle, torn between fear for the girl and the need to preserve the safety of the group. "I can feel something," Sophie whispered, her voice low but firm. "It wants to find me. It wants to take me back." The wall seemed to vibrate with the weight of her words. "No," Lily said, defiance igniting within her. "We won't let that happen. You're not going back there, Sophie. We're going to stand our ground." Just as she made her declaration, the door exploded inward with a thunderous crash. The crowd screamed as a dark figure surged into the room, eyes glinting with a predatory hunger. Time slowed, as if the air itself held its breath. Sophie gasped while instinctively moving closer to Lily, their fates irrevocably intertwined. For a fleeting moment, Lily looked into the wild eyes of the creature, sensing not only danger, but a chilling emptiness, a darkness that needed to be confronted. Together, she beckoned the crowd, determination alighting her voice once more. "We fight!" And as that powerful unity formed, the shadows unveiled and the storm-esque gale didn't seem so daunting anymore. But what victory could they hope for against an enemy fueled by desperation and darkness? Would their combined strength be enough? Each heart raced with uncertainty, teetering on the edge of a reckoning that could change everything for better or worse. The creature stepped into the light, revealing a twisted form that mirrored the very darkness Lily had fought so hard to escape. Its eyes were hollow, devoid of warmth, and with each heavy step, it thudded against the wooden floor, a monstrous reminder of how deeply entangled their lives had become with fear. "Stay together," Lily shouted, anchoring those around her with her voice. She took a step forward, the raw energy from her community swelling behind her. She could feel their anxious breaths, their hope and trepidation swirling in the air. "We will not let this thing take Sophie. We will not let it take any of us." The creature snarled, its teeth bared, as if mocking their resolve. But the power of unity surged. As it lunged, fists clenched in terror, Lily heard her friends rally around her, each loud voice fortifying their collective stand. "We won't be afraid," they declared, the sound resonating like a drum. Liam, finding his courage, stepped in front of Sophie. "We're stronger together. I won't let you take her." He echoed Lily's determination, eyes alight with fighting spirit. The creature hesitated, confused by the wall of human spirit facing it. Lily took a deep breath, pushing past the fear. This was her moment, not just to save Sophie, but to reclaim her own strength. "We're all deserving of our stories and our battles," she cried, her voice soaring. "This is our fight against the darkness." In an extraordinary flash of insight, Sophie pulled Lily back. "Wait! I think I can feel what it wants." Her voice trembled yet resonated with clarity, every eye focused on her. "It's seeking the fear. It feeds off it. If we stand together, united in our love instead, it'll weaken." Lily nodded, igniting the hope that surged around her. "Then let us do it. Let us show it how strong we are when we stand together." She took each trembling hand, starting with Sophie, then reaching out to Mr. Thompson, Mia, and beyond. One by one, the crowd linked arms, whispering words of strength, affirmations of truth, and memories of joy. The air sparked around them, charged with purpose. The creature snarled again, sensing the shift, but Lily met its gaze. "You can't take us down. We'll show you what courage is." Then they started chanting, each voice climbing higher and higher, drowning out the fear. "Hope! Together. Brave. The sound merged into a potent force, cascading through the room like a wave. The creature flinched, stepping back from the force of their joy rising against its bitterness. It hesitated again, caught off guard by the unity that flowed around them and unexpected truth it couldn't comprehend. Lily felt the strength coiling within her, igniting other hearts, while rain continued to pound on the roof, a backdrop to their stand against darkness. We are together. The crowd echoed, louder each time. As if battling against a gale, they pushed forward. You don't define us, they yelled. In a moment of clarity, Lily saw the darkness retreating, shrinking under the infectious light of hope and connection. Then, in one final surge, she shouted, "We are more than our fears, and you cannot win." With that declaration, a blinding light erupted from the collective spirit of those gathered, piercing through the darkness that had plagued her past. And with a shudder, the creature dissolved into mist, scattering as if it had never existed. The room fell silent, then erupted into cheers and unstoppable wave of joy and relief. Sophie turned to Lily, tears of gratitude streaming down her cheeks. You did it. We did it. The community enveloped them in a warm embrace, laughter and cries of victory mingling with the sound of rain softly lifting. Lily felt a weight finally fall off her shoulders. She had faced her darkness, and emerged not only victorious but transformed. Together, she murmured, looking around at the faces that had supported her. We did this together. As they began to clean up, the whispers of understanding and growth rippled through the crowd. No longer mere onlookers, they had become partners in battle and healing. After a night of storms, dawn broke, painting the skies with hues of pink and gold. Light entered each heart, awakening fresh starts and newfound connections. In that moment, Lily understood one profound truth. Through love and courage, they could illuminate even the darkest corners. And as she stepped outside into the warmth of the new day, she felt ready, proud to embrace whatever the future held. But her story, like all great journeys, needed you. If you enjoyed this incredible saga, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for our channel, and not miss the next exclusive stories lining up. Leave a like now to help fuel the algorithm. Each click could mean a new adventure waiting just around the corner. And hey, comment below to share your reactions, your feelings about how Lily faced her fears. Share your own journey of strength. Finally, don't wait not even one more second to share this story with 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us build this community together.